meeting. You don't, you can't maintain much distance. Could I do the stand and still need the pledge of allegiance, sir? Pledge allegiance to the flag, States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible. This agenda, two changes. The first, we're going to remove item business 8C, which is E. The second is we normally have people want to make business. So I think I'll move that forward so that it will occur after the appearance section of the agenda. Motion to approve the agenda with those changes. Lee? All in favor? This time I want to call the Prettyman to do an award presenting to our chief. Our family's here, if you didn't know.
Y'all got me.
Thank you all for being here. My name's Lee Prettyman. If you wondered why I'm dressed up, I don't do that often, but this is a pretty special occasion. A few weeks ago, all ground got a 911 call. Chief Reeves, first responder. When he got there, the gentleman was responsive. Chief rendered CPR, brought the man down for the ambulance. The ambulance took him to the hospital, doing quite well. So, yeah, call this a life-saving. I like to call it a hero. Like this from the city of Ball Ground. Along with, it's not here yet, but it's coming. Heroes driven. Okay. Dress uniform. Thank you very much.
Chief, this is the second meeting in a row you got an award. Thank you for. This time I'm going ahead and move to public comments. So, got you now. Appreciate maybe a 2-minute. First, Jenny Byers.
And with Yeah. Plans to traffic over to other towns. So but also and it's right with this company.
Keep Hollywood.
Hi, my name's Vicki Holyfield, and I used to be your neighbor right there, and now I've moved to Mountain Brook. And I know there's a lot of Mountain Brook, I'll use the word concern or interest about the development. Personally, I'm very excited that it's gonna be such a development. Of course, everybody's first problem is traffic. And from what I've learned about the land swap and how the traffic is gonna be rearranged, it's not going to be all dumped out, so to speak, on Old Dawsonville Road. It improves the flow of traffic. Personally, I didn't think there was gonna be a problem, but everybody, what we think. But I think this is a tremendous idea for the land swap to make it mo better. And just wanted to show my support for the development. From what I understand, it's gonna be beautiful. The very first time Don and I attended a city meeting with the city vision when Eric did the presentation with the charts and everything. It looks perfect for what the city has envisioned all along with the walkable community and everything. So I'm just very, great idea. It's gonna mitigate some of the concerns about the traffic. And thank you all.
Tim Kelly.
Say, I'm very thankful that Boggart's getting this opportunity, great development. Love the idea, the way they're setting it up. They're not gonna scrape the ground down and put a ton of houses in there, leave a lot of natural area, and I love that. Because my father sits there and looks right across from it, stares at it, so I know he's excited about that as well. But, I'm also very thankful that they're honoring the family and trying to keep that family. We can't stop development, but I hope that continue in Ball Ground to develop in the way that we all want to stay here. Proud of it.
Thank you, Kelly. You didn't hear Miss Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. Chris Rogers.
Okay,
Hello.
I too think development on Old Bostonville, I hadn't seen. Top-notch development, I love the growth that we're seeing. But a couple of questions that I do have, and maybe they are in place, but I'm just aware of it. Number one, when projects or homes are being built, do we or are we going to inspector that is going to be able to look at these buildings, inspect them to make sure that plumbing, electrical, everything is done up to code, you know, whether that be contracted out or we full or part-time way, because a lot of people north of Atlanta that are coming this way, because we talk to people all the time. We tell them what a great we live in, how nice it is, open and friendly, and growth that's happening. And be happier with it. And another thing, does the city, when a builder or a developer, do they have any permitting fees that they have to pay or assessments to add to the coffer for future use of the our sewer and water system, we all know there's issues there, and as the growth happens, that's just putting more and more demand on certain things in our infrastructure. And for three, which you kind of touched on, I love our police. Love them. My husband is a retired police officer. Our daughter is a police officer. Couldn't ask for a better department. They're great. Community policing is priceless. Is it something that you're looking at on going full time? Because I know there's a little thing with the sheriff's office wanting to take over Ball Ground. And I certainly hope that would never happen because our officers know this community, serve this, they know the people, and that's a priceless asset.
Okay. This is the comment period, but I wouldn't. say it has to be crap. Third is we are working with the department. We have-
First item, as far as the they will do everything. Also a safer route for us. Because the growth is there. Growth is there. On the second item on permitting, we use those fees now to maintain. Later tonight. Every home required to pay a permit fee. Those funds. $1,000 water capacity, $5,000 sewer. Those fees are then used to upgrade sewer stations that's needed and to buy treatment capacity. For full-time police department. I mentioned that. We believe right now we will be able to start losing if trends continue with what we're seeing in changes that year in June of next year, we'll bring out 7 officers to allow them to be 24/7. Like that, what get that last 65 days on training and off time and things like that. We're moving in that direction.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bob Hassan?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. I'll be brief. My name's Rob Hosack. I'm a consultant. I work with Woody Snell. Actually, I'm here tonight at Woody's request to basically just to give the mayor and council an idea about what we're trying to do with the land swap, but also to maybe clear up a little bit of confusion. I have recently retired from public service at Cobb County. I was county manager for 3 years. I was the director of development for 15 years. During that time, we put millions of square foot of office, hundreds of thousands of lots into the ground. And Woody Snell was one of our best developers. So I was pleased to recommend Woody and one of his developments to the ARC for a Development of Excellence Award. He did receive that. So I can assure the mayor and council this evening that you are getting a quality development. I do think that Woody has gone to great. Linwood Development has made a very concerted effort to comply with the terms of OCGA as it relates to land swaps. When I was at Cobb County, I did a bunch of land swaps. And I can tell you, it's always nice when the numbers work out to where what the law requires is it has to be an equal to or greater value to the benefit of the public body. In this particular case, I think it is in terms of acreage, as well as cost, but I would submit to you, Mr. Mayor, and the council that really, if you think about the number of the comp plan initiatives and the community initiatives that have been identified in the comp plan that'll get accomplished by the land swap, particularly the connectivity, the preservation of the green space, alternative transportation modes. I believe that Hank Manning's appraisal was actually way undervalued as to the value that the city would be receiving as part of the land swap. So, would encourage you to consider approval, and thank you for your time.
Okay, Rob, thank you. Jerry?
I'm Sherry Martin. I live in downtown Ball Ground, and I'm one of the few people who lives close enough to the park to walk and enjoy Howden Farmer Park. Everybody knows what we have available for children, and now we're going to have something for families and for people moving in with high-end townhomes and beautiful homes. And these people who will walk to downtown and help our businesses. My big concern is our businesses are going to be able to grow without traffic growth, because people are going to park at home, they're going to walk their children to the park, they're going to walk their dogs, they're going to walk to a restaurant, they're going to walk to the ball field, and it's going to truly make Ball Ground a walking community. The homes that Linwood is going to be building are going to be between $335,000 and $450,000. So these are going to be high-end, beautiful homes that anybody would be proud to call home. And of course, loving Ball Ground the way I do, I sit at my desk and I watch every day. But I don't see a lot of locals. And my big concern is when we do this, we hope to bring more locals to the downtown area and help the businesses, because they're not only open 3 days a week, 4 days a week, they're open 6 and 7 days a week, and a lot of days they're not doing well. So it's going to be great to have walking distance to all the businesses that decided to call Ball Ground home. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sherry. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'll be quick. I'm available if there's any questions. I know there's been various comments about the development, but I couldn't, I just want to let you know that we couldn't be more excited about being in Ball Ground. The land swap to me is crystal clear, just like Rob Hosak said. The walkability, like Sherry said, is absolutely it, and we're so excited that this is that plan is probably the 10th generation of a plan that we came up with, but the fact that we're able to have pedestrian connectivity down to Main Street and then multi-use trail connection potentially all the way to the adjacent subdivision to the north, and then a new trailhead connection to Roberts Lake and Roberts Lake Dam, I think is incredible, but that's 100% the result of the land swap that's for consideration today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, that's the last, I have. Anybody? Speak? Okay, well, thank you for the comments. I think we may start moving that from the end of the meeting to the beginning. We did that years ago. Scratching my head then, why we did it. I think we'll do that going forward. Let's move on to item 6 on our agenda. That's the approval of the June 17th minutes. Council members received those minutes. Any changes? We have a motion to approve. Motion by Mickey, second. Ali. Okay, all in favor? Okay, that's 7, old business. We have two items. The first is the second reading of the amendment to Appendix A zoning division 104 This is district standards and permitted uses in the overlay district. We had the first meeting last month. There any
Just establishes the criteria by which density will be awarded. It limits the current code, 10 unit per acre will be limited to multi.
John? Second. Vicky? Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, that's unanimous. The second item of business is the second reading of application for a new alcohol license. This is for Warmades. You all know. But had the first reading, could I have a motion to approve the reading? All in favor? Okay. So now let's move forward. New business. First item is consider opening a bank account for our American Rescue Plan funds that we received as we said in our work session. Borrowers qualified for over $800,000. Half of it comes this year, half comes next year. So it's our accountant's recommendation that we put that money in a separate fund so that it's not mixed in with our other bank accounts. So to do so, all banks require and we're going to be asking for Andy, second? Second. I heard Mickey. Okay, all in favor? And that replaces me and Chief and you and Eric. Eric here, but the usual requirements. Speaking of the American Rescue Plan, we need to adopt the budget for that, $408,000. If you want to give
Yes, sir. Again, we're asking for the budget approval, the Gerber Street drain crossing at $85,000. Three stormwater projects we mentioned in work session combined for $56,000. One of those would be a combined city and GDOT project. Again, purchase of water capacity at $150,000. By 40,000 gallons a day of water capacity from the Cherokee County Water Plant. And if you recall, as we've needed to increase our water capacity, we're on a single source well that's currently supplying most of the city. We're at the point we need to start using our wholesale capacity. We have drilled 4 wells previously. All the old rumors of ball grounds sitting on a lake are completely false. We drilled 4 dry holes. So this is an expensive expenditure, but it's guaranteed water. We know it's there. We're fortunate to have a 16-inch main on the south side of town we can connect to, and an 8-inch main downtown that we can connect to. Purchase of the street room, $10,000 to the library. And again, this last number will fluctuate, could go up or down depending how each of the other items comes in. But projecting $88,000 for the purchase of cellular read meters.
So again, this is looking for this year, we'll be creating a new budget for next year for the same amount. Probably different uses than
Next year is projected for reconstruction of the Howard Bridge sewer lift station, which will consume most of the funds next year.
Okay, any questions on the rescue plan? Have a motion to approve it? Okay, motion by Mickey, second.
Second.
Andy. Any further discussion, questions?
Just a final note on that, sort of the guidance that came from Department of Treasury on this money specified water, sewer, stormwater. So that's why it's heavy in these areas. We're not allowed to pay roads with it. We're not allowed to hire staff with it, unless we had laid off. If we had laid off people during the pandemic, we would be allowed to use funds to hire them back. That was not our case. So this is restricted to water, sewer, and stormwater expenditures.
Let's vote. All in favor? I guess I should ask for a motion first. Do that, didn't you? Yeah, we're making so many motions tonight. You did make it. All right, let's vote on it then. All in favor? Aye. We always would vote for $4,000 given to us. Next item is the first reading of annexation application, Leelas. There are actually two tracks being requested. I guess the first has to be approved, so the second can be approved, be adjacent to it. So, the first one, is that the Harris? You received the information, during our work session, we had a presentation from the petitioner. This time, I want to ask for a motion to approve the annexation request. All right, motion made, second. Lee, okay. At this point, this discussion now, I might ask Eric to update us on the things that
The applicant is submitted, brought forth that, and we let legal counsel work it out, but can restrict the property development to a maximum of 30 lots. And that's really the biggest item there was. The other item, the last draft I saw, these things change as you go. The last draft that I saw was a considerably shorter water line. Shorter water line means less water storage, less chlorine residual loss. So he's addressed that issue. Also, the willingness to install a meter blow off at the end of that line. So in the event water does need to be wasted, the applicant would pay for that water. And that goes in this part when we get on water too, that I remind everyone, this is our service area. So we're the water provider down there, whether this develops in the city or in the county. It's ours. We're very, very close on being able to supply the highest elevations. We're required to deliver 20 PSI consistently at the meters. So when you get higher elevations, that becomes a challenge. The applicant will need to install what our engineer would spec, a bladder system, a pressure system to increase pressure there, like a booster station. Cherokee County has a much larger station up on Old Canton Road that they use to push on to Nelson. This would be a much smaller station, pretty simple to maintain, and not a lot of cost associated.
almost fire.
No, this is, with a couple of the elevations that are in there, water gets down to about 27, 28 pounds at the house, which means the next house running the shower at the same time, continue to drop below. So our policy is we don't go below that 35 pound. So this is strictly to get water pressure at the meter for quality. Fire, you know, applicant as he develops will deal with the county fire marshal. That's who we have. And, not sure what the requirements there will be. That's something the applicant will do with the fire marshal on. Again, whether it's in the city or in the county.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, let me ask for the vote. All in favor of the motion? Make a motion. We had the motion and seconded, so all in favor of the motion? All opposed? Motion passes, 3-1. Now we move to the second part of this, request. And it's not the Harris tract, it's the
This is the Emirates Marble.
Mark. This is the back part of it. Back half. Heard that, again, everything that Eric has identified is pertains to this part as well. So I'll just go ahead and ask for a motion to approve the annexation request for this section of the property. Motion by John, the second. She made it. All opposed? 3-1. Motion passes. And that will be, let's see, no, you have to only January 1st, so it won't be until 22 the check pay tax. All right, let's move to, as I mentioned, we skipped item 8 on the agenda. Next one is the land exchange agreement with Greenwood Development Group. At this point, we spent a good bit of time on this, and comments here at the meeting tonight. I think at this point, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve. Mickey, second by John. Okay, they said we spent a good bit of time, the council has, and I think Eric spent days and days on this. But we're looking at a situation where the city would receive 12 acres of property in return for giving up 4 acres. Appraised values of what we have now.
The 5.2 acres that the city will swap valued at $401,700. 12.03 acres that the city received were appraised at $665,700.
Any comments or questions that haven't been asked?
Need to make a motion in a particular way.
I think what you, the motion, should indicate that the city wish to initiate the exchange consistent with the statute that deals specifically with exchanges. And the city, because the statute requires advertisements and an opportunity for community to view the appraisals and so forth.
who did the motion? Mickey to rescind your motion and second. Rescind. And now, I'm gonna ask Daryl to properly word the motion.
A motion to authorize the staff to initiate the exchange consistent with state law, specifically allowing for advertisements and public to view the appraisals, and to vote on this and for it to be considered again at your August meeting.
Okay. Heard Daryl. Anybody?
Motion.
Motion by Nicky, second by John. Okay, any further discussion or questions? If not, all in favor of the motion? All opposed? Okay, that's nothing, so the motion passes. How long will it take for all the advertising?
So the ad must run once a week for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, within a 6-week period prior to the closing. So I believe the plan is, and I was in discussions with the clerk, Sherry, we've already discussed the ad language, and so that ad could begin to run next opportunity.
So, let's move on to the next item. This is, something we have to do prior to every election. We have elected officials are voted on 2 times every 4 years. At this time, my position and 2 council positions are be up for voting. So we have to establish qualifying dates for the November 2nd election, and Karen, it's August
Begin at 9 a.m. on Monday morning, August the 16th,
16th.
and conclude on Wednesday afternoon, August the 18th at 4:30.
August the 16th through August the 18th. So we need the council to approve those qualifying dates. So move, Lee, second.
Second.
John, all in favor? Okay, it's officially, next item is our millage rate. I'm glad to say that in election year, tax rates are going down. Because, we were at 5 mills last year, and we're moving down to 4.633 mills this year. That is, that's due to increased property value and growth here in Ball Ground. So it's benefiting everybody for, as far as the tax rate. So I need a motion. I think we do have to ask for comments. Karen, is that right? At this time, does anybody present have any comments about the proposed tax rate of 4.633 mils? Okay, you can report that. No comments. Motion to approve that millage rate. John, second. Second. Second by Nikki. Okay, all in favor? So everybody with paying city taxes will just get millage rate decline. But if your property value's gone up, your tax rate may not. As we spoke in our work session, we also have to agree on the Cherokee County fire tax rates. Eric, what do we expect it to be?
We expect it to be 3.2.
And only after the county commissioners vote on that will it be official. But what we're asking for is council just to approve whatever rate the county agrees to, which we think will be 3.292. Motion to do so. Okay, Lee, second. Andy. We have 3 vacancies right now that we need to fill on different boards. The first is our zoning board of appeals. We're going to, I'd like to request the council to consider Stephanie Joyner. Stephanie is, of course, a Ballroom resident, and she's also head of the Cherokee County Historical. Could I have a motion to approve her to join the zoning board? Motion by John, second by Andy. All in favor? Okay, the next position we need to fill is to the Victoria Regional Library Board. I would like to Julie Hunter to be our new representative on that board. Julie is, she handles the senior center here, but she's very community and Sharon, thank you for your service. She came off the board in June, so you would go on to council. Got a motion to approve Julie. So moved. Okay, motion by John, second. Ali, all in favor? That's Stephanie and Julie, congrats. And also the last one is, it's a position on, there's a new board the county put together, transportation committee, and they're asking for a rep for Ballroom, and we're putting forth Josh Briggs, Josh, the president, to serve in that capacity, and appreciate your willing to serve, Josh. Can I have a motion to approve Josh and that, for that transportation committee? Okay, motion by John, second. Nikki, all in favor? Unanimous. All right, get that bypass thing. Get that truck right. Okay, that concludes our few items, visits items. Eric, you want to provide your monthly update?
Sure. Month of June also ended our fiscal year. So that ended our 12-month reporting period. We ended the year with fund balance of close to $1.6 million between all funds. In June, general fund is one of our lowest revenue months at $34,000, with expenses at $144,000. Year to date, we're at 1.58 million with expenses 1.55 million. SPLOST continues to do well at 55,884 on the month. For the year, we're at 769,000. Our utilities for the month of June brought in 124,000, 32,000 in expenditures. Year to date, 1.577 million in revenue, 1.475 in expenses. Hoping to say something better this month. We still do not have our qualified local government status. Again, all municipalities signed and was submitted to the Department of Community Affairs. They responded yesterday to the county with a list of comments and changes that need to be made on some of the Form 2s. So the county is working on those items now. Hopefully we'll get something resubmitted next week. We do have one grant that is being held in abeyance right now because we do not have the status. Again, this was from the inability of the cities and the county to come together on a delivery strategy over the past 2 years. The light's at the end of the tunnel. Tax Commissioner would continue to work this issue. In the drop in the general fund, we have cut a check for $53,000, which we're still holding. Tax Commissioner says there was a problem in their software. Turns out maybe it was a problem in interpretation, but they believe they have mispaid or overpaid the municipalities in Cherokee County about $1.2 million over the last 3 to 4 years. Ball Ground's share of that is $53,000. We have not remitted it as we continue to seek more information on exactly what the problem was, what has been corrected, and also Cherokee County will just, let things stand as they are. Tax assessments, we continue to work with the, tax assessor's office. We've had a problem for years. Our downtown is a unique downtown. It's actually inverted. Our residential properties in Ball Ground pay a much higher tax than our commercial properties. It's because of the lack of property sales and comps in the downtown area. That's changed over the last few months. Keep the tax assessor abreast as we know that properties sell. Most significant on there is one downtown property that sold about 2 weeks ago on the Tax Digest for $178,000, sold for $750,000. So it's going to begin to set some comps on these downtown buildings, many of which are valued below $100,000. So it's time to get their values correct at the Digest. Capital projects, repairs of State Route 372. I have a meeting next week with the district engineer. I think everybody can agree that the improvements on the road have been significant over the past few weeks, but it's not what we wanted either. They owe us a complete resurface to that road, and we'll continue to work to get that. We do have improvements to the right-hand turn lane on 372 meeting State Business 5 at the traffic light. Those are scheduled for September. And also the drainage issues at 410 and Gilmer Ferry Road. And you approved our portion of that earlier in the ARPA budget. Materials, well, GDOT provides the labor. Our police building, as we said last month, we had dropped our new police building out of the budget cycles, and 24/7 staffing was our priority. Regions Bank has come back and taken another swing about the ability of refinancing City Hall and building the building and keeping our service the same. If they can do that, then we will accomplish both of those items this year, but they have to be able to get the payment with it, because again, our priority is getting to 24/7. Community Center, the assessment there has been completed. We will be able to salvage the red iron that's in that building, which should be a significant savings cost for the structure of the new building. Also be able to salvage the existing pad that is there. They're now beginning to work on the design work. We should have something to look at probably 60 to 90 days. River Street, the drainage project there. I've always told everybody River Street was the worst street we had in the city. You're looking down on that photograph, the little white on the right-hand side in front of my foot. That's Cherokee County Water and Sewer Authority 8-inch main. The next smaller white line is a 2-inch line that is not on the map. The next line is, first time we've seen that line, we knew it was there. That is the 4-inch line that goes directly from the well to the water tank. The next line is our 8-inch line that feeds the old Dawsonville Road area. It goes out up Gruber and turns right. And then out of the picture, about another 3 foot over, is another 6-inch water line. Beyond that is a 6-inch gas main. Beyond that is a 10-inch fiber optic. And today on that project, we gave up. We've met with failure there. We are unable to safely do it. We brought in several more contractors. So they restabilized the lines today. They were afraid they were going to start losing the water lines, and they will be using mechanical equipment, getting in the storm drain from the bottom, trying to jack it up. Then they will grout with concrete bottom of the pipe, and then they will send in their little robots and spin fiberglass on the inside of the pipe. So instead of replacing that pipe, we're just having to do it in place because we cannot safely excavate it and keep everybody in water. And if we lose those lines, we lose water to the entire city. We also lose water to the city of Nelson, because that's their supply lines from the water authority. So it's not worth
Do
the
they,
risk.
are they paying the franchise fee?
No,
To our,
no, they sell us water. So this road's gonna be closed for the foreseeable future. Pedestrian project at Lantern Walk, still no update, other than that we're down to a 30-day estimate now instead of 60. The guardrail project, continues to lag. It noticed it rained a lot. So every grading project in the queue ahead of us on this has been delayed. Keep getting pushed back further in the queue. We've completed our priority and paving assessment. Depot and Summit will be paved, supposed to be paved before the end of October. And that's the top end of Summit Circle only. Following that, next year, we will hit North Ridge and Civic Drive and the section of Old Dawsonville between River Street and Gilmer Ferry Road. And then the other streets follow on later. Upcoming projects we have, we're looking at now, we're in design right now on turning radius improvements at Civic and State Route 372. Next to, excuse me, this is right next to Jill's Bakery, where we have real high concrete curves in that area. Somebody's sitting there trying to come out onto the highway, everybody's afraid to turn in next to them. So we're gonna be breaking those out. We'll be able to pick up about 6 feet on each side and really open up that intersection much better. We've also engaged for a traffic study, and this is nowhere near definite. Traffic study will be done, and then it'll come to a public hearing and elected body for decision. But just looking at what it will do to improve the flow of traffic to one-way River Street, be going west to exit onto Old Canton Road. Also enable us to put sidewalk further up there to create more pedestrian connections. Might not be feasible, but it's, we're gonna get an engineer assessment on it. Also, River Street traffic study, just hit that. What? On our business activities, we've had some, new tests and new big words this month. Water quality is always a concern for all around the drought in the water and proud of the test results we have. One of the items they're getting concerned now in water is methanes. Chlorine breaks down in the water. There's a byproduct that can be created in far reaches in the system that can present health hazards in the system. And so you have to have chlorine, but there's a residual effect as it breaks down any bacteria in the water. And we're real happy to say that there was absolutely zero detected in the Ballground system. So good news for us. The other one is something brand new. Only 30 systems in the state were tested for this. It's called PFAS testing, and I'll mispronounce it, but it's polyfluoroalkyl. Chemicals that are used in nonstick cookware, cosmetic, varnishes, paints, stain-resistant carpet and furniture. All that starting to leach into our soil and therefore into our waterways. We do not know the results of this test yet. If you could watch the video on how this test is collected, it's the most difficult one we've ever, you're not allowed to touch anything. Your hands are gloved, and the sample bottles are in plastic Ziploc baggies, and you're not allowed to reach inside the bag. You have to work the bottle up from the outside, and then drop it back in the same way. And it takes 3 people to do the test, or to collect the samples. But that has all been done and is back at the state lab, and we're waiting for those results. The Howell Bridge Lift Station, the design is underway. Funds won't be in until next year, but we'll get the design now. And with the fund balances right now, we could probably go ahead and pay for the upgrade of this station and then reimburse ourselves with next year's ARPA funds. Water rate assessment has been completed for the estates of Sharp Mountain Creek. In order for the system to break even and put it on with every other resident, you're looking at an additional add-on fee of $46.50 a month. Again, that is because the tank you see there in the picture, it purposes only. I mean, the drinking water comes out of it. The only reason it had to be constructed was for firefighting, and it only serves 20 homes in that neighborhood. $46.50 really isn't feasible. That's a lot to put on a person per month. We are looking at other avenues, other things we have at our disposal, including talking with the Cherokee County Fire Department and seeing if they want to spend their fire tax on maintaining the tank. Parks and Recreation, Valley Street Linear Park, the air compressor pad was poured today. That's a picture of the pad there as we developed a historical linear park down there. But that air compressor is now Public Works. We've got it cleaned up and painted, and it'll be moved probably a week after next down onto that pad across from the fire station. And then we'll put in other historical pieces as we come up the valley. But that's the air compressor that was actually used to, in the marble mill where Universal Alloy now stands. So that's got a long ground history. We're in grant writing right now for the bridge shown in the picture, about $230,000. It will, if the grant is approved with DNR, that will be placed on Long Swamp Creek. We have 25 acres on each side of Long Swamp, so that'll open up the far side of the creek for more trails in that area. Also drafted today a request to the Georgia National Guard, their aviation units, whether it's approved or not, we don't know, but we're asking them if they would like their one of their helicopter units to do a sling load operation to build this bridge since you can't access the site. Actually build the bridge in Public Works. They could then lift it, fly it in, and set it in place. Public safety, 818 calls for service, 534 patrols, 78 traffic stops with 36 citations, and 15 accidents. Accidents were up this month. Also, we've been talking a lot about the police department lately, but things are changing in and around Ball Ground. On the left-hand side picture, after council meeting last month, received a 911 call, suspected robbery or burglary at one of our businesses. Youth coming out of the back of the business running, they were armed. Young officer that responded. And in the dark, that looks real, and that's a Pelican. And the decisions, split-second decisions that you have to make in the dark, bad things happen. And, proud again of our officers and the restraint and the decision-making that they have to make in a split second in the dark. That looks real. Planning and zoning, development code. Our draft development code will be to council within the next 3 weeks. We'll then be out for a 30-day public comment period and adjust as needed and hope to publish by November 1st. And then really proud to announce, and most of you already know him, We have our first ever Director of Planning and Zoning, Chris Lewis. Chris has been here since July 1st, and the impact he's already making is amazing, and it's going to continue to be that way. We appreciate him taking a chance on coming to Ball Ground.
Appreciate the opportunity. He hasn't been here.
He's been here one day a
One
week.
day a week.
55 now. A little over time. Citizen requests and complaints, we're gonna start adding this each month just as things come up. Already addressed most of these with chief, and he'll be, working on these that pertain to law enforcement. But we did move as a result, our radar sign out on the Old Dawsonville Road, starting to track traffic in that area. It is kind of surprised at the speeds that we've already picked up on that. So the department will be addressing that. Also ATVs and four-wheelers, some on roadways, but some also city ordinance doesn't allow them to be operated, especially four-wheelers on lots under 2 acres. And we had some of that going in a few of our subdivisions again. So the police department will be addressing that. Getting some comments and concerns, especially from some of our newer residents that aren't used to Ball Ground, on the hardness of our water. We do have a very hard water. It does leave the calcium residual. We're limited in what we can do there. Quality of the water is fine. We always assure people it's good. It's not a health issue. It does stop off the coffee pot. So a home filter system sometimes is recommended. Solid waste services, but we are happy in this area to say this has been the first week in months that we had 0 complaints. Waste management really went through a difficult time with staffing. Complaints were driving our folks crazy. But our public works folks have picked up some of the service load as well. We're doing the cart deliveries, pickups now, doing some of the bulk item pickups. But 1 week with no complaints was good, so hopefully that's a starting point. And then finally, a number of complaints, and this one is mostly in Lantern Walk, but some in Preserve at Long Swamp. We need to go in and do an assessment of the street trees. They're growing into the street lights, and so people are getting more shadows than they're getting lights. And we'd like something done there, so we'll be hollering at a tree service to come in. We don't want to take trees down, but we might have to do some selective pruning, kind of open some of these lights up. And that is-
Okay, Eric, thank you. I wanted to make one comment tonight pertaining to our 4th of July, pre-4th of July display we have every year. I think this is the biggest crowd we've had. And it's so nice to have Ball Ground coming back in July after the pandemic. And great concert, but I think we estimated, 7,000 people? And I had some friends from out of town that were here, and they were amazed at the quality of the fireworks. And so I guess most of you probably attended, but I'm excited to get back to, we've become a go-to destination for the region. And as breweries open, wineries open, and all these events taking place, that we can start back, because hopefully the COVID's not going to reemerge. But I'm just very excited to be in an area that's alive and kicking. I just want to thank not only our city staff involved, but just our visitors and our residents support. Amy, do you have anything we'll bring up tonight? I know Mickey does.
Yes, I do. Speaking of alive and kicking, we'll bring up the pickleball issue. We've discussed it in the past here as a committee and as a council. And I think what we've done now is, in case anybody's wondering, just to inform you, we do have a pickleball league in our town. and it's growing rapidly. Barry Edge happens to run the organization. I think they meet out there 2 nights a week now, and Sundays. And so what we've decided to do, and what I'm asking for tonight, we're gonna go ahead and change one of the tennis courts. We have 2 tennis courts in town. We're gonna change one of the tennis courts into a full-time pickleball. Okay, and, in order to do that, we finally came up with a solid estimate with the organization, the company that we've been using on the tennis courts for the last, whatever. So what I'm asking for is, that the mayor just approve that we can move on for getting this completed at the cost of $10,500.
Okay, that's your recommendation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, could I have a motion, council member, to approve this? So, motion by John. I guess you can second. Second by Andy. Okay, when do you think we'll be able to do it?
What do we say, Eric?
I can issue the notice to proceed in the morning. We used to in the past, we usually 4 to 6 week turnaround.
Well, let's, do that once we say all in favor of the motion. All in favor? We'll move forward on that.
That'll make our pickleball. I see several pickleball players out here in the crowd. Let Barry know that I took care of that for him tonight.
Need to come watch.
Need to come play.
My sciatica sometimes kicks in. Well, actually, it's not that bad. Maybe I'm better than I was at tennis. Lee, anything?
Well, I think you kind of see why I brag on our police department by what our chief did this last time. And so that's about all I can say. I don't think we can get much better than that.
Lee is chairman of our public safety committee. John?
Lee. Speak.
All right, let me go ahead and give, Harold, anything you want to add tonight? Comment on? Gary?
No, sir, I'm good.
Chris? Sir. You can, just do it 5 minutes. Speak to us for 5 minutes.
Make a speech. No, I am happy to be here working for the city of All Around full time. Cherokee County kid. Grew up playing baseball, basketball here in the city, so seeing the changes and happy to be a part of the future.
But he spent time in Charleston and Mount Pleasant and Savannah. So he has, as we move into hopefully some historic preservation efforts, Chris will be a real asset. Okay. Let's call for a motion to adjourn. Thank you, everybody.